Now we are going to have the third session for our day 4, and I would like to welcome Dr. Sheikh Makbul Islam. Sir, namaskar.
Namaskar, Jai Jagannath.
Namaskar, sir. So it's my privilege to introduce you. Uh, Sheikh Makbul Islam is an MA in Bangla language and literature from University of Calcutta. His doctoral work was on comparative folklore. He obtained D.Litt degree for his research on Bengal Orissa cultural relation from Utkal University, Bhubaneswar. Dr. Islam started his research career as research fellow of folklore and culture in the Asiatic Society, Calcutta. In 1997, he joined as a faculty in Department of Bangla, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, University of Calcutta. He has done two major research projects on Sri Jagannath supported by UGC. He has been Indian resource in a UNESCO participation program on Hasan Raja. He founded Sri Jagannath Research Center in the St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. He wrote books on Sri Jagannath, consciousness, research methodology, folkloristics, folk musicology, comparative religions, and others. He got Navokalevar Award 2015 for his research on Sri Jagannath from revered Sankaracharya of Govardhan Peeth, Puri. Thank you, sir, and I would like to welcome you and please take over the session.
Okay. So, thank you, Penny Madam, for introducing me. And I would like to extend a very good evening to all the participants. By this time, we have listened to two very illuminating and thought provoking speeches. I am going to present on folkloristics. The exact focus of my presentation is folkloristics, an approach of understanding culture. Actually, with the advancement of research, as well as with the experimentation in the field of research, we try to apply, make use of, or we suggest different theoretical concepts. We make different conceptual frame in order to interpret phenomena we come across in field situation. So my point is folkloristics. Folkloristics is not a very unknown term. The term is well acquainted. Actually, it was suggested by Alan Dundes in 1965 as a terminology in the field of folklore. But later on, folkloristics emerged as a discipline, and after that, folklorists, those who deal with the folklore and folklore tradition, they altogether tried to make this as an approach of understanding culture, interpreting culture, or analyzing culture. So, my point is, my logical claim is that scientific concepts are not confined to one discipline. So, whenever we find that a concept is scientific, it has enough logical potential to explain phenomena, it is globally used. It is used in other discipline also. So we can make use of different concepts in our discipline, in discipline, the discipline that we are dealing with personally. Suppose my discipline is Bengali language and literature, folklore, Sri Jagannath consciousness. So I have used different types of uh, theoretical concepts to interpret the phenomena. At the same time, I try to understand the interpretation process of culture from the point of folkloristics too. So this is one point that whenever a theoretical model, it becomes, we accept it as science, we use it. It is used by different the scholars of different fields as well. And second point is, in suppose linguistics, the decisions or the conclusions of linguistics are used in literature. Uh, the the concept of sociology, anthropology are used in other disciplines also. So we can also utilize use the concept of folkloristics in analyzing culture. So how folkloristics, the term folkloristics was created, just I would give an analogy. Language, the science of language is linguistics and the science of folklore is folkloristics. So this is how the word has been created. And folkloristics is a multidisciplinary subject, a multidisciplinary approach, as well as it is a meta-disciplinary approach. So we have, by this time, we have implemented the methods of folkloristics in interpreting tribal culture. Uh, I would like to coin an alternative word for the term tribe. It is honored group. Banglaয় মান্য গোষ্ঠী, instead of Adivasi, and in English, the honored group. So, because the term tribe is much debated now. However, uh, research uh, methods research methods helps us to systematize our research with authentic data by adopting suitable theoretical or conceptual basis, befitting tools of analysis, and finally to minimize error and to increase accuracy. So this is in brief what research methodology wants a scholar uh, to do. Excavating and exploring new idea is the main object of our research. So we have to excavate new fields and new areas. We have to interpret in new way of certain phenomena. And the most important point which I would like to draw the attention of the esteemed participants and scholars, that I shall use two words. One is knowing capacity. I know what methodology is. Maybe I know what are the steps of methodological research. So this is knowing capacity. The second point is working capacity. We have to have the ability to utilize the theoretical methodological concepts when we do our research. So this is the excellency of knowing research methodology. Because when we are able to utilize theoretical concept in my research, we can make use it in a better way. Suppose I know the theoretical concept of Marxist method. But at the same time, I have to know how, in what way I shall interpret a text, a cultural phenomena from the perspective of the dialectics, Marxian concept. So this is working capacity. So we have actually BRC and St. Xavier's College, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, and Stockhome University. jointly hold this program on research methodology to increase our knowledge so that we can enhance our capacity of using research methodology. This is one goal. My next point is folkloristics and theoretical dimension. So this is another focus of my point. Before that, I would like to say that uh, I have designed my presentation in three different levels or three different parts. One is my theoretical presentation. Next, I would like to show you some slides and what problem we face when we go to do research and how we manage the problem, how we solve the problem. So, research is not only an academic pursuit, it involves a kind of management also. So, we have to know the research management. So, from this point of view, I would like to focus on some of the problems that I have come across in the field situation and just share my experience to tell you how I solved all those problems. And last part is, of course, interaction. So I am not going to tell you everything in details because I know information is with you, but I want to give a very scheme of an outline of, rather a conceptual mapping of what I want to say. Then during interaction, we can take questions and go for discussion. So our point is, what theoretical concepts are used in folkloristics? This is the very core question of this core idea of this presentation. Actually, folkloristics believes, like other discipline, that data should be collected from primary sources, from the oral sources in particular, since it is folklore, from the community. In every fundamental research, we have to collect data from the concerned area, concerned people, or concerned, we can say, sector. If I am working on archaeology, I have to excavate fields. So if I am working on folklore, I have to go to the people. So from original source, the underlying, the word which needs to be underlined is from original source. And since the discipline is folklore or folkloristics or culture, we have to go to the people. We have to measure the mind of the people. This measurement is necessary. Actually, there is a shift in the study of folklore or folkloristics in contemporaries in the last centuries and in this century also. What we did in the past centuries, we took information, we collected data. Our focus was on material. But now our focus is in some other point. Okay. We shall take questions. One question appeared in my screen. We shall take the question later on.
Yes, sir.
And take the question later on. Second is, incidentally, my next point is ethnography and ethnographic fieldwork. And this ethnographic fieldwork we have taken from anthropology. And there are many knowledge, many concepts we use in folkloristics, which we took from anthropology and other disciplines also. Fieldwork is one among them, and particularly ethnographic fieldwork is another uh, another approach that are used in folklore, because it is a science, and it is our folkloristics owe to anthropology in this regard. So I must acknowledge the contribution of anthropology, cultural anthropology in particular. I am not a, my discipline is different, but uh, basically language and literature, comparative religion. So anthropology too has many branches. So particularly folklore, they use the concepts of cultural anthropology. There are other disciplines also, physical anthropology like that. So it needs special training and expertise, which we are not supposed to do. So second point is linguistic concept is also applied to to deal with the literature or the oral, whether to deal with the text, to deal with the language text in particular, which the society configure in terms of language. So language again is a very umbrella term. We have different types of language. It is verbal language or vocal language which we speak, because we have our body language and different other types of language also are being used by the community. We use other languages too. So sociological concept after anthropology, sociological concepts are also used in folklore. In folklore, so and the particular those ideas which developed within the discipline of folklore is historical geographical method. Just now we have listened to a very illuminating lecture of Professor Dr. Siddhartha Satpathy on intellectual history. Uh, so historical method is another method which needs to be emphasized when we do folklore, because when we come across literature, oral literature, usually it is very difficult to fit the phenomena into space and time frame. So if we want to claim something as history, we have to fit it into the space time frame. Otherwise, it is difficult to present it as authentic data in academic sphere. Historic geographic method, comparative method is used, but comparative method is not new in folklore. It was used in uh, linguistics, and even it was used in other disciplines also, comparative anatomy or like that. Type motif is folklore. Type motif is another approach, another two approaches rather, which evolved with the in analyzing after analysis of folklore tradition or folklore heritage, particularly the oral heritage. Folk musicology is another aspect where we use the basic concept of musicology. And when we do it in the field of folk music, so folk musicology has developed. It is ethnomusicology is already there in anthropology. It is an anthropological approach. Basically, the approach is almost same, but some specific points are there. Visual folklore. So this is a new discipline in the field of folklore, and uh, in anthropology we find visual anthropology. So by following the invention or the conceptual frame of many other disciplines, folkloristics is developed, and it is a developing discipline. It is a developing discipline and multidisciplinary approach. Multidisciplinary approach. So usually when we analyze folklore, we try to implement Western concept. But I think in order to explain the spirit of the local culture, we need to develop suitable theoretical concept or tool so that the local flavor or the spirit of culture is better explained, is better explained. And we can also try, suppose just Rajneesh Mishra ji was talking about the Indian Bharatiya Alankar Shastra, Ananda Bardhan, Abhinava Gupta, Rosh, and everything. So usually our mind is tuned with this idea that this can be used to interpret or explain Sanskrit literature. But later on, we have used Vibhava, Anubhava, Sanchari Bhava, Sangjagad, Rasa, Nishpatti. We have used this theory, this law, to explain the phenomena of other languages. Like we can use Kashidashi Mahabharata, the Mahabharata of Kashiram Das, the Mahabharata of Sarala Das of Odisha. So we can explain, and even we can use the Indian Alankar Shastra in interpreting folklore too. So these challenges we have to take in the new millennium. So this is one, because there are some folk music, there are some literary creation which are really very beautiful, and Rasho Srishti, that is Banjana, suggesting sense is very striking. So we can use our Indian concept also, and we try. It would be our earnest effort to try to suggest theoretical frame to interpret our own culture. So this is, and another point is text analysis. So text implies many things. In music, text implies language text, rhythm text, music text. In the field of culture, it implies culture text. And in the field of visual aspect of culture, whatever we perceive in our eyes, that is visual text. So I will explain you how visual text we can differ in two visual text, and we can measure the difference of culture. I will show you in slide, because it would be easy to uh, show some practical thing so that you can understand it better, right? And text context texture method, this is also used in folklore, in interpreting folklore and in interpreting culture. Regarding theoretical phenomena, if we accept a series of concept as theory, or if we find it that it is capable of explaining phenomena, it is not confined to any particular discipline. So it can be used in other disciplines as well. Suppose psychoanalytic method. It is used in other disciplines also. So it is not confined within the psychology. Initially, it evolved from medical psychology. But later on, it was used. Till now, we are using this in literature and in explaining art or the code or symbol, like that. So folkloristics, if we really agree that folkloristics is an emerging discipline and it has the potential to explain culture, then it can be used to explain in other disciplines also. Recently, I tried to explain certain phenomena of Mangala Kavya, and from the point of folkloristic view. And in recently, I worked in a tribe with a tribe named Pankhua in Bangladesh. I took special permission because foreigners are not allowed there to work on Pankhua tribe. It's a hunting tribe, and tried to explain their uh, cultural phenomena from the point of folkloristics. From the point of folkloristics. So we are trying to explain it uh, different aspects of culture from the point of folklore. Just one question appeared with relation to Jagannath, Lord Jagannath. So, yes, I have dealt with Sri Jagannath consciousness in of Northeast India. Particularly, I worked in Nepal, in Andaman, in northeastern states, Manipur, Tripura, Meghalaya, Assam, and I collected some data of other places. Of course, I did it in my state, West Bengal. So, suppose type and motif. In one of my writing, I tried to sort out the motif of Jagannath culture. The motif of Jagannath culture. So I cannot claim that whatever I have done is something final, but it is an effort with a new vision, with a new approach to interpret culture from a different point of angle. Uh, let us now go for an imaginative journey of research. So here I would like to tell you something about Sri Jagannath in details, because among many of my research projects, Sri Jagannath consciousness in Northeast India, particularly my field was Northeast India. First, it was supported by University Grants Commission. So my first project was on West Bengal and Bangladesh, and second was on Sri Jagannath in Northeast India. Four projects, for the four states. So if we perceive Jagannath consciousness from the point of folkloristics, we have to give recognition and give due respect to all the works that has been done from different points of view on Sri Jagannath. Sanskrit scholars of Sanskrit literature, they wrote on Jagannath. Scholars of philosophy, they wrote on Jagannath. Scholars of language and literature, they wrote on Jagannath. So, scholars belonging to different discipline, they tried to explain phenomena of Jagannath culture from their own discipline, from their own point of perception. So, so far the research of Jagannath is concerned, I would like to tell you that I find some difficulty, some challenges in the field. And how I overcome all those challenges is the focus of my presentation now. Just I am sharing this experience. If in any way this may help you to solve your own problem according to your own research, within quote research problem, or within your research domain, within your research domain. So first point is, in Northeast I went there, and in Mitoni I find a very old Jagannath temple, more than 600 years. They are, along with Sri Jagannath, they are worshipping the image of Jayadeva, the image of Jayadeva. So in many places I have found that Jayadeva's Gita Govinda is sung during Kirtan. Keshavadhrita Buddha Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare. So they are singing, they are chanting. But this was a striking experience for me, for which I need to explore the mind of the people. Why? How? So why they are doing this? What is the relationship that the temple authority or the local people believe that along with Sri Jagannath, Jayadeva also needs to be worshipped? So this is a question. Maybe I am not able to find out the answer of all the questions, but raising a question, a very pertinent question, is also the task of research. Maybe I may not be able to solve all the question, all the problem. It is not possible for any scholar to solve all answer of the to get answer of the all the questions. But we have seen Advaita Mahaprabhu is being worshipped in Manipur along with Sri Jagannath. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is being worshipped in Manipur or many other temples in India and Bangladesh and other places. But first time I came across one temple in my experience who worships Jayadeva. So this is striking feature. So now being a researcher, what would be my decision, what I have to do, how to deal with this and what to do, how to reframe the conceptual structure of my research when we come across with a new phenomena. So this is the challenge of methodology. So I have to revisit the place. I have to revisit the place and then ask the devotees, many of the devotees, to try to understand the mind. Second phenomena is in another temple, it is Bhagwan Jagannath temple. It is the Sri Jagannath is worshipped by Nath community. Just I am giving some clue so that you can frame your question by Nath community. Yes, Siddha Jogi Nath, Mino Nath, Matsyendra Nath, you know. The people of Nath community, they are worshipping Sri Jagannath. So the Nath community and the interrelationship between the Nath community and Sri Jagannath is another very important sociology of the folk culture of Goalpara area. This is Bhagwan area. Second point is they brought some manuscript. So to understand the manuscript, a scholar needs special training. Otherwise, it is difficult to handle the manuscript or to get into the content of the text. So for which a scholar needs to be equipped with minimum knowledge of manuscriptology. If I do not have that knowledge, then I have to collaborate with a scholar who knows manuscriptology or who is able to deal with the phenomena in a better way than me. Bandana Didi, Dr. Bandana Dey yesterday, she told about manuscriptology, some basic ideas about manuscriptology. So we have listened to lecture of history, we have listened to lecture of the Bharatiya Alankar Shastra. So how we can make use them in our research, that is our methodological task. Second is art dimension. So I will show you some slides and discuss elaborately about art. So let me first finish the theoretical part of my presentation. So I believe it is not very healthy idea to hold that folkloristics will deal with the phenomena of folklore alone. Because folk culture is not a different culture. Anthropology, particularly cultural anthropology and anthropological vision, taught us that culture is a continuous flow. Culture is a continuous flow. We have to understand culture from the point of a holistic vision. And there is a continuum. We usually divide culture in different way. Shishta Sanskriti, Lok Sanskriti, uh, folklore, urban folk culture, urban culture, like that. So we usually make a division. This is just because of the academic necessity. But so far our vision is concerned, culture is an undivided flow. And like folk urban continuum, in the field, my field experience taught me that there is a continuity according to the vision of Rabindranath Tagore in Bangla. He told Bhitorkar Jog, Sanskritir Bhitorkar Jog, the internal connection of the two cultures. So this Bhitorkar Jog taught me, particularly what I have learned from the field, my field experience, that culture, there is a Lok Puran continuum, folk Puran continuum. Like folk urban continuum, if we take the case of Sri Jagannath, the myth of Sri Jagannath, it speaks of folk Puran continuum. You can take the doctrine of Niladri Mahoday, and before Niladri Mahoday comes the name of Skanda Purana, Utkal Khanda, Purushottam Mahatmam. So it very clearly points out a folk urban continuum. Like folk urban continuum, it is Lok and Puran continuum. So this phenomena, and now final question is that you may raise one very pertinent question on behalf of you. I would like to raise as a student of folklore, that why we use the methods of folkloristics. Since we have anthropological methods, we have ethnographic methods, we have other different methods. So why should we use folkloristic approach? The basic idea is folkloristic approach takes us to that sector of culture, with some special conceptual ideas and techniques to get into the core of undocumented culture, oral culture, intangible culture, which passes through orality, which is preserved in traditional knowledge, which is living. Folklorists suggest us to go to that level of the society. Another point is making theoretical frame is also a scientific task. In the field of science, I mean, in the field of scientific study of academic, new theoretical concepts have emerged, even in anthropology, even in other disciplines. So, this is another way to try to frame a new conceptual, theoretical scheme so that we can reach to that level of culture where the motif, the symbol, the, I do not say primitive mind. The term primitive is often used with derogatory sense, but which where the ancient record of human mind is preserved. Cultural anthropology also, the field is same. Suppose I have worked on the Pankhua community. My discipline was folklore. But an anthropologist, if any cultural anthropologist or any sociologist or psychologist, they go there. So they work on different field. I know that a team of medical science, they went there and worked on their blood culture. I am not expert in this field, so I cannot tell you exactly what topic, but I think they have taken sample of blood from uh, different people and some produce some report on the basis of that. So the same field area is explained by scholars of different disciplines, and folkloristics suggests to interpret, to notice first, and to interpret the phenomena. Now, I would like to last part uh, of my presentation. I would like to show you some slides.
Sir, do you need any help from us?
Yes, can you guide me, madam, how to
Yes, sir. I would like to request Shrimanti Ghoshal from our technical team kindly guides her in this regard.
Sir, can you open the PowerPoint presentation? Did you open
yes,
it?
yes.
So kindly go on to the share screen option in your screen.
Okay.
Did you go?
Is it visible?
No, sir, not yet. After
Okay.
going to the share screen option, you can see share the whole screen and click on done.
Share the whole screen.
And then click on done.
More. I shall go to more.
No, can you see the option share screen?
No,
Sir?
no.
Uh, you
No.
okay. So can you see the option more? In the more, can you see the option share screen?
Let me check.
Can he present? Sir, can you WhatsApp me the PowerPoint presentation so that I can share it on your behalf?
Okay. Just now. Just give me 1 minute time so that I can WhatsApp you. Just
Sure,
1 minute.
sir. Sure, sir.
Just 1 minute.
Sir, with your permission, in the meantime, can I take up the questions which
Yes,
have
yes,
come in from?
yes. Please.
Okay.
Please
So,
let me listen to the question that I can, so that it would be easy for me to.
okay, sir. After WhatsApping your PPT, please let me know. Then I will be taking up the questions for you. Dear participants, kindly bear with us. Thank you so much for your cooperation.
Okay. Okay, you can take up the question. So it will reach within 1 or 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay, sir. So
Ah.
today I would
Sorry,
like
sorry, sorry. I'm not
yes,
expert in handling this
absolutely fine.
device.
So please let
Device.
me say so. So same here. So I would like to take up today the last question first. Like this
Ah,
is from Aryadeep Roy Chaudhary.
Srijani, madam, please see slide is in. Okay.
Yes,
Hmm.
sir. I have received it.
Okay. Please help me. Ah.
Sure.
So, sir, shall I take up that question now or
Yes. Sure. Or should I let me first complete the slide presentation? Maybe
okay,
maybe some questions may be answered in the slide presentation.
okay, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, give me a minute. I'm sharing the presentation.
Hmm.
Dear participants, thank you for your cooperation, and we will be showing the PPT soon. Thank you.
Mhm. So if it takes time, we can take one question,
Sure,
madam.
sir.
Without killing time, we can go with question.
Sure, sir. So I'm
Mm.
taking the last question. Uh,
Yes.
this is from Aryadeep Roy Chaudhary. Sir, I'm
Mhm.
interested to have some idea regarding the origin of Gauriya Nritya. What led to its origin and evolution, and how is it connected with the Bhakti Rasha Sanchar and folk culture?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Same with the Kirtan. Please forgive me if I'm asking like a layman.
Okay. 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 So there is no question of hesitation because regarding dance, I also have to answer the question like a layman. But I would suggest you that Dr. Mohua Raichaudhuri, the Mohua madam, she worked on the Gauriya Nritya, and so far as I know, when she was working on this, she consulted some of the terracotta and temple icons, temple images, and she reconstructed the gestures and pose of Gauriya Nritya, revived it, reframed it on the basis of those gestures found in the temple terracotta of Bengal. Uh, so this is one question. And the second question is bhakti. You see, so far the Vaishnavism is concerned, usually one thing we have to perceive Vaishnavism from a very broader perspective. Usually we believe that it is a belief followed by some people. It is a school of thought, but we have to understand one very prominent reality that the half of the Indian culture is the contribution of Vaishnavism. You can take dance, you can take music, you can take performative drama, and it is more clear in the Northeast. Rajarshi Bhaggachandra, he framed the nritya form from Lai Harauba. Uh, he was the rishi figure of Mahua Mukhopadhyay, right? Mahua Mukhopadhyay, Gauriya Nritya and Lai Harauba. If we come to Assam, Srimanta Shankar Deva, and if we come to Bengal, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bedha Sankirtan, Bedha Nritya, and he taught his disciples, তাল দিয়ে তিনি গান শেখাতেন আর কি. He taught his disciples how to sing kirtan with by following a particular bit. So this is there. So Vaishnava movement is not a religious movement. From the point of folklore, that is very significant for me. It is a cultural movement. Suppose I am not at all interested in the Vaishnavism. Suppose without taking the theological and the religious phenomena of Vaishnavism, if we keep it aside, the issues of Krishna Bhakti or like that, it is a culture. It was a cultural movement. You take the painting, you take the architecture, you take the nritya, kavya, and Vaishnavism brought about madhur ras. I do not find any suitable English word. Rather, I do not know. If you know, you can suggest me. Madhur ras. This madhur ras, this madhurata was brought to culture by the Vaishnava seers, by the Vaishnava performers. You can take the musical form in Shakta culture. We find a kind of birras, tandav. In case of Shiva, we find a kind of tandav. But in case of Vaishnavism, Vaishnava culture, you see the dance of Manipuri. They are very polite Manipuri dance. Kirtan, a very beautiful, typical, beautifully designed musical configuration, and which was based on folk. You find in Sri Chaitanya Jivani in biography, uh, 14 madul, 14 madul. Madul is a tribal instrument. Mridangam is there, but in the Sri Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat tells us about madal. It's a tribal instrument. And so far folklore is concerned, I just remember Gauranga Rag was there. Recently, I am working on Mangala Kabba, Gauranga, Sri Gauranga Rag. One Gauranga Rag was formed. You take the Roshik Mangal Kavya of Gopi Vallabhpur Sripat, it is full of folk. Actually, the folk people, they are the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached Vaishnavism among the folk people. Narottam Das Thakur, you take the case of Shamananda Mahaprabhu, they all preached among the folk people. Chandale, Chandalopi Dijo Sreshta Hari Bhakti Parayana. You take the hierarchy of Varna system. Chandal is in the bottom of the hierarchy, and Dijo is in the top of hierarchy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's preaching was to bring Krishna Bhakti to the Chandal. He preached among the folk people. That is important. That is why I need to understand folklore. I know that Kavya, that texts like Ujjal Nilmani, or there are many philosophers who wrote Vaishnava Shastras. But at the same time, we have to take the case of the millions of devotees who took initiation in different parts of Bengal, in Rajshahi area, in Gopi Vallabhpur area, in Mallabhum area, in southern Bengal among the Ponda Kshatriya. And even in northeast India, I have found that there are many tribes who embraced Vaishnavism. This is another very significant question. And this question arises out of perceiving the cultural phenomena in the folk society. The tribal people, not entire northeast people, they have embraced Christianity. But a reverse trend is also there. Some of the tribes, they have embraced Vaishnavism. So why this? There is a dialectics in the society too. So from this point of view, if we want to address this phenomena, notice this phenomena, we have to take the help of the folkloristic method along with other methods. I do not want to dissociate folkloristics from other disciplines, because any discipline, whenever it becomes a science, it becomes universal. It is beyond any discipline. Okay, let us take the next question. If we
Sir, the PowerPoint is ready.
okay, please.
We are showing the PPT. Thank you.
Can you see it, sir?
Yes. Bah, সুন্দর দেখাচ্ছে. You see, so this is monolith in the northeast India. একটু ফ্রেমটাকে বড় করুন, একটু অ্যাডজাস্ট করুন, ঠিক আছে. Northeast India, this is monolith. We do not have any written history of this. We find some history in print, but all those history within quote history was collected from the oral source. So this is monolith, and the imposition of value on stone, imposition of value on wood, daru, so far Sri Jagannath is concerned, nimba, daru briksha. So we have imposed our transcendental value often on metal, often on stone, often on wood, and other. So when we impose some cultural value, transcendental value in any object, in any material within quote, it carries some different meaning. Okay, next slide. ওটাকে ওই হাত দিয়ে স্ক্রোল করতে হবে ম্যাডাম. হ্যাঁ, স্বপ্নেশ্বরী, Odisha. Swapneshwari, Odisha. How to, the challenge is for a folklorist, it is a challenge how to write the history of this deity. Swapneshwari, something related to the goddess of dream. Goddess of dream. So folklore, being a folklorist, it becomes a challenge for us to find out the origin. how to find out the origin, what are the texts, where from I can get minimum information about the deity. So this is a challenge. And how to frame it within time and space, within the frame of time and space. Swapneshwari is a deity. Very beautiful. It is near Chandaneshwar village. Okay, next slide, madam. Next. Yes, this is a manuscript of Nepal. I went Nepal, and incidentally, I met one respected priest of a temple, and he told me that he has a manuscript on Sri Jagannath in his house. And he was kind enough, very much kind enough, to show me the manuscript, because they put it in the altar in the Vedi of where Lord Vishnu is worshipped. In spite of that, for research, he brought the manuscript outside, and this is Jagannath Pratishtha Vidhi. The point is, it is written in Newari language. So I wanted to bring the entire text. It is a very short, several 8 or 10 pages. I wanted to take photographs of the manuscript, and I had an ambition to get it translated into Bangla and then into English. But however, he was not agreed, because he told that this is a very secret thing and not to be made public. So however, next slide. So this is the next slide. This is an Assamese manuscript on Sri Jagannath. Okay, Assamese manuscript on, not on Sri Jagannath. This is an Assamese manuscript. People say that this was written by Srimanta Shankaradeva. I have no proof to authenticate this data, but what they have told me, this needs to be subject to verification. We can finally write that, but manuscript, we need specialization of manuscriptology. Otherwise, I can't handle this phenomena. Achha, next slide. Next slide. So this is again in Nepal. In Nepal Jagannath temple, there is a stone inscription. There is a stone inscription. So I do not have any expertise in dealing in the field, in dealing with this phenomena. So what I did, I immediately went to Newari scholar, Purushottam Lochan Srestha, a very prominent archaeologist of Nepal. I took his help to read out this, because this plate, this stone plaque, gives the history of the establishment of Sri Jagannath Temple of Nepal. So this is challenge, because I was not aware about this. Usually what we go, kato sale hoye, kab hua tha? Itna 1750 mein. Usually we write that. But if we really use historical method, we have to first to see the original data to authenticate. So after to authenticate this date and name, I had to spend 1 or 2 days, stay there. So I took the help of the, so this is how we manage the research. Okay, next. Next we come to some visual. So just, this is a deity of Sri Jagannath. You see, Lord Jagannath, people of throughout India, they have configured Sri Jagannath in many ways, thousands of ways. I say that I am lucky enough to see Sri Jagannath as Vishwarupa when through my field work. We see the Vishwarupa of Sri Krishna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Pashyame Partha Rupani Shatashuvatha Sahasrasya. Okay, so I have seen I am lucky to see the Vishwarupa of Lord Jagannath. This is another configuration, but that is not my point. Why the people of Tripura, Unokoti, they configured Sri Jagannath in this way? Perhaps the next slide will give us answer. So I would like to, we need to correlate the archaeological data with the present. You see the configuration of Unokoti and Sri Jagannath. So here I have used comparative method. So far method is concerned, methodology is concerned. This is a kind of visual comparison. Next, I have taken much time. Please go to the next slide. Okay. Next. Next. So far visual text is concerned, please. So far visual text is concerned, this is Puri Ratha Yatra. During Ratha Yatra, I was, this time I missed Puri Ratha Yatra because of lockdown. Show me the earlier slide, madam. That. Yes. This is the Ratha Yatra of Manipur. You see the visual text, the two photographs gives you visual text of the culture of two different areas. You see the difference of Ratha. The Rath is different, how Manipur has configured Ratha in a completely different way, and how Puri, next slide, Puri. পরের স্লাইডে চলে যাই. Okay. So this is Puri Ratha Yatra. So you can see, make a visual comparison. These two photographs actually gives us the visual text of two different culture. So what are the criteria, how we can interpret it, that is a long discussion. But before that, I just give you the clue that the text of visual culture is different. Next slide. Next. This is another, the Panchamundi Ashan, Tantric. Where, why, when, how, why. So all the W, there are many W are associated, interrogative W are associated with this question. To get these photographs actually opens up a completely different domain of research. So if we try to explore the answer of all the W, really a research discourse will come out. So this is this photograph is taken very near to Kolkata. It is in Rajarhat area, a very unknown temple in Rajarhat area. Okay, next slide. This is also a kind of visual text which prompts us to jump into some other research. Next. In the first day, we have listened to gender issues. So how to correlate with Jagannath culture? You see, Chera Pahara. Oriya kahanti Chera Pahara. Oriya bhashaয় বলে Chera Pahara. It is Chera Pahara is in Oriya language. Okay, and she is a lady. So this involves gender issues. So next slide will give you more answer. This is in Andaman. Let me tell you, this is in Little Andaman. Okay. Andaman, and you see one sannyasini Mataji is the head of a Jagannath temple, and the entire temple is managed by the woman. Okay, next. Next. You see the Mataji 81. The Mataji in saffron is 81. Okay, next. So this involves gender issues. Next. Next. Yes, this is Pata Chitra, not Poto Chitra. বাংলায় পটচিত্র এবং পাটাচিত্র, painted on wood. This is in Assam. In Assam. You see, the hands of Lord Jagannath is raised high. Post Chaitanya, this text, this visual text tells us about the post Chaitanya, because this is the gesture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So why the people, the artist or the devotee, this is not the work of artist, this is a work of devotee. He configured Jagannath in this way. So for this we have to know the influence of Sri Chaitanya, the influence of Sri Chaitanya upon the art. Okay, next. Okay. Nila Madhab. Nila Madhab. This is Manipuri temple taken in the India-Bangladesh border in Srihattu area. If you just, I am telling you that you see the eyes of Jagannath and the eye line of the Jagannath, it is like fire, Agni Shikhar Matu, and it carries the influence of Tibetan Indo-Mongoloid art. Nila Madhab. Nila Madhab. A very beautiful Nila Madhab. So this involves the art dimension of why instead of Jagannath they have taken Nila Madhab is another question of another part of investigation. Next. Perhaps we have come at an end of my slide presentation. The philosophy. This is not mere a murti, a vigraha. This is a translation of a philosophy. Ram rupe dhanuk dhare, nimai rupe bashi, Chaitanya rupe nimai hoilo sannasi. In the form of Rama, he holds bow and holds flute in the form of Krishna, and in the form of sannyasi, Chaitanya, Sri Chaitanya expressed himself. So this gives a very Shalabhuj Rup. As you know, the history, Shalabhuj Rup was shown to many scholars, many devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is one configuration. And this is actually the translation of language text. What we come across in language as readable text has become visual text in the art form. Okay, next. This is in Bangladesh. A very beautiful cultural resistance, perhaps the last slides. Okay, this temple is damaged after the earthquake in Nepal. This temple is grossly damaged, and this is the Jagannath temple of Nepal. So I don't want to show you the temple because this is not a very big question in research. But you just see the temple and just remember the physical lookup of the temple and go to the next slide. And this is our Puri Jagannath temple. So you can see that the visual text of the two temples are different. The point is, Nepal has taken Jagannath consciousness, but they have retained their own culture. So regarding temple architecture, they have their strong resistance. They have not built Jagannath temple in conformity to Puri temple. Even in Manipur, they have not built the Ratha in conformity to Puri Ratha. They have their own. So the cultural identity, if we want to look the cultural identity through the configuration of Vaishnava art, or whatever you can say, Ratha temple and others, so the issue of cultural identity is also very important. And even in our Mahesh Jagannath temple, the deity inside is Lord Vishnu, Lord Jagannath, Nilo Madhav is also there. But the temple architecture is more close to Kamakha temple. You see the Mahesh Jagannath temple. So one kind of acceptance is there, and on the other hand, a kind of resistance is also there. So there is a dialectics between acceptance and resistance. This is a sociological thing. To understand all this point and phenomena, I think folkloristic method, along with the other methods, will help us to get to throw new light on, on Indian culture. So with these few words, I would like to offer my namaskar to all and everybody. So I have taken much time. So now microphone is handed over to Tinni Madam.
Thank you so much, sir. And you got a lot of questions. So, uh, and I really don't know how to express my gratitude, because how you have talked on cultural plurality and from the various angles of humanities and social sciences, how you have related anthropology, ethnography, sociology, history, iconography. So I have no words to express my indebtedness to you, and it was really a great experience. And I think all of our participants, they enjoyed and they learned to a great extent. So I will be mailing you the questions, but one question I
Yes,
would like to take,
yes,
because
yes.
as
Send us all the questions so that I can answer you possible so far possible for me, and return back to them. So all their question will be addressed. That is from my part. Okay.
So one question I'm taking, that is by Sharmishta Debasu. If you
Okay.
can explain who are the folk people, so
So
perhaps this
this is a
question is related with like when you were explaining the cultural origin of Jagannath cult.
mhm. Okay. So in general, the term folklore was coined in by the British by the in England in 1846 to imply the peasant class, the peasant class. So this was the focus. But later on, the concept of modern folk varies from rural folk to urban folk, because we are living in the age of urban folklore also. Recently, my book on urban folklore has also been published. So, according to Steve Thompson, whenever a group of people they respond to the same cultural stimulus, they make folk. So, we cannot delineate, or we cannot bracket folk people into any particular strata of society. Folk is a taste in our culture. Folk is a way of our vision in culture. And who actually in modern world, in modern global world, we can say that each and every people is folk. An university group of students, when they do mime, they folk. The postering, the the postering and the rhymes or the songs of urban context, it comes from the urban folk. Recently, during Corona situation, many urban folk has come and folklore. So now we cannot say that folk people are uh, confined to any particular strata of a society. But earlier it was said that the people who are associated with agriculture, hunting and gathering, are like that. But that we have come out from that model, because when we see a BMW car with some lemons and uh, chili, green chili, uh, in is used to uh, protect the car, or some uh, in when we see that the broom and old shoes are being hanged on a top of bamboo in a multi-storied building when it is being constructed. It is folk. So folk is in our taste, folk is in our attitude. That is my point. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I will be surely mailing you the other questions.
Okay, okay.
And it was a great session indeed. And now, dear participants, we are privileged to announce